should be live. Steven's here and sleepy.
Already?
Yeah. So sound should be live. We should be seeing if everything's good. Sound is good. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, it's just the two of us today.
Hey, it's okay.
It's all good. Better than, just one of us. No one wants a floating head conversation. How are you doing tonight, Will?
Pretty good, I guess. I mean, it's, another dousing of snow last night and today, and so trying to stay warm in the basement here, but we'll make it through. We'll make it through.
Yeah. I'm really disliking winter, especially in Toronto. 50% of the parking spots are just now snow hills.
It's just snow, right? Yeah, and it's like, it's already hard enough to park.
Yeah. Like my apartment, we get one parking spot on the driveway, which is fine. But then for a second car, I usually park on the street,
right,
which is a nightmare. So I have a really good parking spot right now, and I'm so hesitant to leave and do anything. It's just like, I know I won't get it. The moment I leave that spot, it's gone forever.
Who are the champions, Jeff? And why am I getting called out? What is this? Starts already.
Oh, when
that's a throwback to when I chirped him earlier today. Okay, I got it. I got you, Jeff. I got you.
All right. So we got some housekeeping stuff to announce, and then we also got we got our topics to dig into. So we got a few things, and then we got deck tech submissions to look into.
Yeah.
So awesome. Let's go into the announcements. So backer kit smoke tests got sent out. Some people were confused about this. So backer kit is the pledge manager. After the Kickstarter's done, it's now to get the shipping addresses and pay for shipping and get any additional add-ons that you want to get. That was a big process that I didn't know about going into this. I'm happy that they walked us through it, but we got approval for the smoke test. The smoke test is just sending it out to like 5% of the people to make sure everything works, right? And then after that goes, we let it sit for 24 hours with those people. Once they've accomplished everything looks good, then we send it out to everyone. So there's going to be a lot of cool things with that. But yeah, I know that there was definitely some people who were saying that, hey, they didn't get the chance to, or they wanted to get more add-ons now, and they want to do that before the project closes. But I'm going to let people know that it's like, yeah, you could, if you missed out on the Kickstarter or missed out on getting the add-ons, then feel free to wait until it shows up in retail and then get it there, right? Like a lot of the retailers picked up quite a bit of product. So
yeah, well, I would assume so, right? Because they're going to either open some themselves or whatever, or they potentially have enough that they could then sell the Kickstarter boxes, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm so excited to do a Origins draft.
Origins draft is going to be, that's going to be exciting because it's all new cards with a whole bunch of new champions to work with, right? Like, it's going to be interesting.
Would you, for your Origins draft, would you force people to like only play with the new Origins champions?
I think that would be expected on the opening night, like especially on like a pre-release event or whatever, right? Like if it's like, I mean, you can't really force somebody, but I would heavily be like, well, we got to try out these new champions. The whole deck, the whole set's designed for them, right? So it would make sense because like if you go into some of the older champions, there may not be necessarily like direct supports.
Yeah,
there would be some.
There's some. Because I know there are definitely some card slots where it's like in the design process we were saying, all right, which champions from the original 12 do we need to help rebalance or give them some sort of new asset? And Odar definitely came on the list. So there are some cards that are in different spaces that are to help some of the older champions, but they're still valuable for the new champions.
Yeah.
So for everyone who doesn't know, Alex isn't joining us tonight because it's his anniversary tonight. So yay, congratulations.
So we can say that the gloves are off.
It It was just crazy because the past 3 weeks, like the 11th was my nephew's birthday, the 18th was my cat's birthday, which is special to me, and today's Alex's anniversary.
Yeah.
It's like it all lined up. It was awesome.
That's like March in our family.
Yeah.
Because my wife's birthday is March 12th. Both our kids are born on the same day, just different years, 2 years apart. So it's March 6th. So and then I think my mother-in-law is also around that time too. So it's like 4 birthdays all at once. It's just so crazy.
Nice. Yeah, we have that in September for us, I think.
So yeah, so the smoke test.
Okay,
so
yeah.
if we didn't get, so I didn't get an email.
Yeah, so
That-
you
so that's
should
just-
be getting that tomorrow.
Later, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So yeah, that's done. Then the other thing, which is definitely important for us, is the Raphael Levy, right?
Yeah, we're doing that tomorrow.
Second sit down tomorrow morning. It's gonna be so early in the morning.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
My kids are up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'll be up ready to go, have a coffee ready. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think if you hadn't seen the announcement, it's going to be a free for all, so it should get pretty chaotic. 4 of us. The fourth person is Raph hasn't told us yet, so we'll find out tomorrow. So
Sorry,
myself,
gotta take my phone off vibrate. All right, yeah.
myself will be there. Raphael Levy will be there. You're joining us as part of the Haunted Castle team, and then a 4th person who will be there as well. So
I'm gonna try to stream that.
Nice.
I'm not gonna commit to it because I'm worried that my computer's gonna start bugging out.
Explode.
So if it doesn't work on our end, at least Raphael will be streaming it. But definitely excited about that. I feel bad because both the first time you sat down with Raphael and when Jan sat down with Nerd Girl, I was like, I want to be there. I want to do it so badly. It just seems like it'd be so much fun. But then on the other hand, it's like, I can't be at every event. The only reason I am doing this one is because we needed a 4th person.
Right.
Right? We just didn't have a 4th person for the longest time.
But yeah, no, this is exciting because this is a follow-up. So we sort of ran through the game. We've shown it to sort of his Twitch followers. And then we've done it. Yan did it with MTG Nerd Girls. So now we're back with Raphael Levy. And then showing off a different way of playing.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of movement, 4 champions on the board. It's gonna get pretty crazy. So I whipped up a couple of decks to try to keep them within power level, but I think yours and my deck will be a little bit more of a challenge just to balance it out, right? It's only fair. It's only fair.
I actually got a message earlier today from Nerd Girl saying that she wants to do a follow-up video and is just waiting for us to figure out when the right timing is for that. So I'm excited about that too. So a lot of great things happening on that side. And then on a small note, we don't have to dig into this one too much. The recycling program, I'm still putting together the pieces. Hopefully that'll happen soon by the end of the week. That's my goal, is to get that up on the website. And then the last is the fan server tournament hosted by Shahan, Atlas Collectibles, and Darren. Like it's combination.
It's kind of
like
a combination. So the mods the mods are putting it on. Atlas Collectibles is the sort of the LGS that sort of providing some incentives to participate. Pretty good size pool for like a first time out. Probably one of the bigger online tournaments we've had.
Yeah.
If maybe even like the first. Well, we've had I guess we had a bunch of standard and Future League style tournaments back in 2020.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago.
I know, right?
So yeah, but this would be good because there'll be judges there to be, if you need any help, if you're brand new. There's prizes to be won. It's all done online. The details are up on the fan server, and yeah, there's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Do we have the date on that?
Yeah, it's Saturday, January 29th. So I threw it up on screen for a few moments there, but
All right, this weekend.
The 29th, yeah, 1:30. And then so it's exciting. Going through Atlas is really cool. I know that they're a store that's been very supportive about our growth and what Genesis has in store for the future and representing Canada. So that's been really awesome. And then on top of that, like, yeah, I know Infinity and Dragon World have been hosting online events.
Yep.
But this is one of the bigger ones, right? Like this,
bigger, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And with prizing. The other ones do pricing as well, but I think they like at least the OP kits. But I think this actually has like store credit.
Yeah,
and they have
store credit. So.
And they have an online store and they have singles up there. I'm not sure. I haven't been on the Atlas's site for a while, but I think really cool event. Definitely a chance to get an OP pack.
Mm-hmm.
For those
who
need
get
those.
the Death's Companions.
Yeah, pressure points, holy walls, not holy walls.
No. Healing Fire.
Healing Fire, Rain of Arrows.
Yep.
Cog Restrict.
Yeah. I have a huge pile of the card promos just sitting right here.
There you go.
Got Rain of Arrow, Cog, Healing Fire, Demon Scrolls, Fire Master's Ass, Rapier, Primordial, Behemoth, Shakti, Odds on Tiger, Pressure Point, Death Companion, Volcanic Eruption, Wrist Throw, Super Powered. So, pretty solid list of cards.
Anja Tigers. Yeah, Steve, you're right. Yes. Anja Tigers are going to be... That's going to be an awesome one if you pull one of those.
I think especially looking at Assad in next set, Assad Tiger is going to see a lot of love in the next set.
Oh boy!
Yeah. Origins is really going to change things up. I'm excited for that. Very, very excited.
So all the champions have been spoiled, right? Like everything's been presented?
They're on the Origins website. If you go to genesisboc.com/origins, and scroll down, all the cards that we spoiled so far are on there, including all 12 champions.
Nice, yes, that three energy reduction. Oh boy,
yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I remember. So when I first pitched that to Alex to do that, we both been going back and forth. And when I said it, I don't know if I said it first or he did, but whoever said it first, the other person responded was like, "That was my idea." Like we both were thinking the same thing. So I'm glad we followed through on that, and this will finally make energy. I think energy reduction has always been an inferior resource compared to the aura. This will finally make it valuable, especially with fatigue coming out, where fatigue's a win condition, but your energy reduction actually stops that from occurring or slows it down. So I'm really excited. I think Essa's going to be a great champion, even if the secondary ability isn't insanely powerful. It's still very valuable.
Yeah, it went through a lot of a lot of changes because it seemed to always be something where it potentially was very broken on the card, right? And that's one of the things you always mentioned to me was, having something broken on the actual champion card is very difficult for the game to compensate, right? So
this actually leads really great into the first question we got kind of tagged in here. This was back on the
segue.
Yeah, I know. When does TTS support for Origins start? I mean, in a lot of ways, Origins is already on TTS. Right?
Oops.
It's in Future League. I like how the Future League kind of has that Fight Club mentality. It's like, you don't talk about it with people outside of Future League. Which, I mean, it was never anything we enforced.
No.
It's even in the guidelines. Like, you can talk to people, just, respect the fact that some people don't want to hear that. And that came from Steve-O, who was very adamant about, like, don't tell me anything about Future League. Don't tell me.
Spoilers, yeah.
So,
but it's not actually, right? Because all the cards are still code names. So there's no, the actual artwork or anything of that is not up there. It's just all code names, which is the fun that I get to have now is when I start opening Origins, in a couple months. Like, wait, what is this card? Oh, that's this card.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand.
The other thing is a lot of cards that are very, very basic and just fit the formula perfectly. There's no reason to put them through Future League. So there's a lot of cards that are going to show up in Origins that were just like perfect fits from the formula, work wonderful in the game, but you had no idea that they were going to come.
Surprises?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. But for the most part, like, a lot of... It only makes sense that a lot of the stuff from Origins is in TTS, because Origins is such a groundbreaking set. There's a lot of features and functions in that set that didn't exist before. Warp is brand new, Fatigue's brand new, Stack Modifier. All of them need to be tested very thoroughly. And so, I'm excited to see how that kind of turns out. But as for that question, yeah. Now, I don't know when Origins, like with the artwork and everything, when that will
when that changeover, when they move from that bottom row up to the top row and become real cards.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess Steven can already start doing some of that now, where the cards that are on the website can be pulled up. But yeah, there are definitely... I think it'll be closer when we start doing the spoiler season. Then I'm guessing that's when, spoiler season's happening. Might as well. Yeah. Things are locked in. Because that's the other part of it, is things aren't 100% locked in just now. Some things might get changed between being spoiled already and
you can thank Future League people for that.
Yes.
Because
thank you,
Future League. We have to do lots of extra testing this last couple of weeks.
Yes. There's been
shout out to Eric L, if you're out there.
Yeah?
Yeah. He put together a couple of good decks that just showed, the real power of, something that we just missed, right? And so now we've been working on, how do we make the adjustments to make everything still fit, right, in the set. So, but
yeah, the nice part is the fact that because Origins hasn't been printed yet, there's an opportunity here to still make some changes. It was the same thing with Raze. Raze was going to get printed, and then because of COVID, it got delayed massively. The warehouse shut down, all the LGSs shut down, so we delayed the release of Raze. And during that time, we did a lot of extensive testing and changed so much of that set. I know Olgoy, like OK and Hegemon, and there were definitely a few cards that saw significant changes because of that delay.
That's where Breath of Jalar went up, right? They got slightly nerfed for the amount, not really nerfed, but like its costing was more put better in line. Yeah. So getting that a little bit of extra time is definitely worth it. And this also gave the artists some extra time to go in and revise some of the stuff for refine some stuff. That's good. So as far as like let's say there was an like a sanctioned event.
Mm-hmm.
Origins cards would be like legal for competitive play when the Kickstarter is out. Is that?
Yeah, when the Kickstarter boxes are shortly after we have that time frame of them being delivered and in the stores, then we'll have the sale time. This is my plan right now. It may change. I'm going to put that as a preface, but my plan right now is that the sale of it should go live the moment the stores get the product. They should be able to sell it because already players have it in hand, so it doesn't make sense to hold back the store from being able to sell it. But it being tournament legal, that should wait until all the stores who have ordered the Kickstarter product receive it.
So there may be an announcement at that point, be like, hey, official, like, will there be, I guess there won't be before we've always done like a pre-release night or whatever.
Yeah.
Will we have that with the Kickstarter? It's sort of hard to gauge, right? Because
it is. The
coming from them,
Kickstarter is
right?
a very weird situation, especially since it's not going through our normal distribution chain. As it's not even going through distribution at all. And we have two stores, one in Germany and one in UK. So those stores are going to be
even
figuring out how to get it to them and get them ready for that Kickstarter release as soon as possible. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I think time will tell, but we will make sure that we synchronize it, right?
Yeah, there'll be an official announcement. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that'll be awesome. But I'm excited. I'm so excited for Origins. I can't wait. It's so annoying having one of my policies. This was the thing when we did with Raze was I gave some of the champions to the community ahead of time and made them tournament legal the moment you got them.
Right.
But this time around, I asked Alex, and
Yes.
Alex is the lead, so he makes the final say on some of these things. And I was like, okay, when do these Origins promos go tournament legal? He's like, when Origins releases. I'm like, that's so lame. Let the people play. But I guess casually you can still play.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to stop you.
Yeah,
if you have...
I'm never gonna. If someone got some of those promos and wants to play them against me, I'm not gonna stop them. I'm gonna be playing with them. Like, I'm gonna make my Kasha deck. It's gonna be awesome.
Don't you have it? Isn't that the one that's all foiled out?
No, that was my long deck. That's the one that I actually got sitting inside of Jeff's deck box on my shelf.
Yeah.
I got that all foiled. My Kasha deck was the one that was using alpha, pre-alpha, or sign cards.
Yes, that one.
Like...
What a flex. What a flex.
Yeah, I'm evil like that.
Some people have them encased in screw downs, protectors. No, he's just throwing them on the table, tossing them.
Shuffling them, bridge shuffling them.
Bridge. Just cracking the spines.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be exciting. Yeah. So obviously, because Kickstarter is not from you guys, but then there will be a retail Origin set as well.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking at how to make the retail version of of Origins have really cool things in it, still be exciting to buy, to crack packs for, all that awesome stuff, without devaluing the Kickstarter version, right?
Right.
So I want the Kickstarter one to have its specialty and its, a reason to be excited for that product. But just like we're seeing with J2, like the second print run gives us an opportunity to slow things down a little bit and make some improvements, right? And that's the way I'm looking at the Kickstarter Origins versus the retail Origins, is I think there's some improvements that we can make, especially if the retail is coming out a little bit longer. But at the same time, I still want the Kickstarter product to feel very premium. So a lot of exciting things coming on that side.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with the retail release of Origins. But the Kickstarter ones, just Origins coming out is exciting.
Yeah, I think Kickstarter will always have that. I was there, I was involved, I got it to whatever the funding goal was way past. We blew it out of the water. It was a fun, 37, 38, 40 days, whatever it was. So there'll always be that, and I'm going to be opening up everything probably.
Yeah.
I know I should probably keep a Kickstarter box sealed, but it's gonna be so hard too.
Yeah.
Well,
the only reason why I haven't opened the boxes behind me is because, I have enough copies of the cards. Otherwise, I definitely would. Like, I remember when we got the beta inventory, when the beta inventory was arriving, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how am I going to keep this product sealed? Like, it's just going to be so tempting to just open packs. And I'll be honest, I did. When I got the packs not for beta, because all the beta packs came in boxes as well. But for Welcome to Jailar and Raise, we got some packs that were separate from the booster boxes for things like Patreon or conventions. And every now and then, I used to just sit there and open up random packs of Welcome to Jailar, and it's just so tempting. I opened up a pack recently that was kind of weird. So this is a Raise pack, and the inside of it is red.
What? I've never seen that.
I think it was because it was at the end of the roll.
At the end of the roll. That makes sense.
So
someone on the fan Discord got a pack of Welcome to Jalara, and it was one of those mythical all rare packs.
Really?
Back in the day. That somehow never made it to my store or my way. Was always someone else. Oh, I opened up all rares.
When that first happened, it seemed like the worst thing. Like, it was like, oh my goodness, they messed up manufacturing so bad. And it's like, no. it was just a fun thing. The other thing I saw when I was putting out the Patreon packages for January was there were so many booster packs where the art was shifted by a significant amount.
Weird.
So, like, you can see the bottom, quarter of it or fifth of it will be the next champion's artwork or something like that. And I'm like, More? Sure, I'll give these out
There,
to
dude.
people. I'm sure some
Call
people
that-
would want to hold on to it.
Yeah, I call that a misprint, right?
Yeah,
Misprint
right.
packaging. Yeah.
I'm not opening the alpha box. Sid's asking me to open up the alpha box. You open up
Sid,
your alpha box.
Jeez, Sid, open up yours first. Be a man.
And then Jeff was asking if I use your deck box. It actually is containing my long deck. Will, you have your long deck in your box from Jeff too.
I do, right here. That's long. So it's meant for.
Yeah. I have my foil long, which
Okay,
I got signed.
all right,
Wait.
okay.
I got it signed by Mac Attack.
Nice. Hey, it works. Who cares?
Yeah, that was the thing. I have my card signed by those random people. It's great. Alright, so next topic. Is there any plan to have anime versions of other original heroes or any champions moving forward? Is there a point which you would consider 3-color champions? So 2 separate questions. So anime versions, I mean, to make this a bit of a dialogue, if there were other art forms, which ones would you be interested in, Will? Like, what are other styles that really excite you?
Other styles? Oh,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. That's a tough question because there's so many like ways to do it. Like, I know for me, like Jeff's chibis were pretty sweet the way that he had done those, and some of his other art that he's been putting out.
Oh yeah, I love
really
the new
sweet
fan
like that.
stuff.
Yeah, like the dark sort of gritty style. Oddly enough, I've always loved sort of like pixel art. Like, I think it's just like that's just sort of because I grew up with Super Nintendo
Like the
and like
early Mega Man type of thing.
yeah, like Mega Man stuff, right? Like that.
All
Like,
right,
it's
all
just
right.
sort of
I
like,
could take that.
especially now with like with the way that pixel art can be done now, where it's so like detailed and yet still like what's the word for it? Minimalistic. That's the word, right? So like it's like there's so many great games that are brand new, but they're still pixel art, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Yeah. I think that
stained
would be
glass.
great. Yeah, there all of a sudden like there's so many ideas that showed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Horror stuff. Yeah, Jeff. I don't know.
So that actually, so specifically, there's this one YouTuber who takes Disney artwork and then like turns them into this deep horror theme.
I've seen that.
I'm like, I've thought to reach out to him quite a few times and be like, hey, could you do a theme for like a Halloween set?
Wow.
Of like all the champions in some sort of horror disguise. I think that would be awesome and get all those promos made.
Now that you've said that on my computer, like tomorrow when I go onto my YouTube, there's gonna be like the first thing that pop up is gonna be.
Next time I see his thing show up, I'll reach out to him, be like, hey, do you want to do a sponsored thing and make some horror champions? I think that would be so cool.
But unfortunately, the animes though, I don't. I think Raha was. I know. Is it the last one?
It is currently because I don't know what Leslie's schedule is.
Right.
So I would love. She did the initial sketches for all 8 of them, the original 8.
The original, yeah. Okay.
So she did
no
sketches.
Oni.
No Oni. She did sketches for the original 8. I don't know if she still has them. I don't know where they are right now. If I ever find them, I'll try posting them up or like throw them somewhere so the fans can see them. But I remember Anime Rain was going to be my favorite. That was the one I was the most excited about.
Rain is your favorite.
Yes,
That's just,
I know. Right.
It's not that hard.
But overall, like that was really just a thing of supporting Leslie, giving her an assignment that she would love to do. Because she did the Angel and did that practically for free as a gift for us. So I was like, all right, you should do something. It was cool. This happened a few months ago, but she was visiting some family and then so she was on vacation. She goes to an LGS there and then finds Genesis on the shelf and pulls it back and it's the Angel artwork. And she takes a photo of her holding it. She's like, look what I found. Like, yeah. Imagine how crazy that would be. Like, just walking to a random shop and seeing her artwork there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, I don't think I will ever see that happen because my artwork is not going to be purchased. But that's got to be surreal. Like I think I was watching one of Jeff's videos where he was like, seeing his artwork for sale, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the realization of that is it's pretty cool, right? It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a really weird feeling when you see something you worked on appreciated by people that are outside of your influence sphere, right? Well,
that's why, like in Origins, like there's 2 cards that I have in Origins that are going to be, I might lose against now when I'm playing Genesis. I'd be like, oh, why did I make that?
Yeah.
So that's
your fault.
But that's all right. I'm sure you felt that way before.
Yeah, it's so the thing is, when I started designing, taking the design of Genesis a lot more seriously back in 2000, I want to say 2010 or 11. I was in Seattle at the time playtesting it with my brother's friends. And there was 8 of us who met up every Saturday, and we played Origins, Genesis. We played every Saturday, and out of the 8 of them, I was the absolute worst. I never won a single game. Yeah. But the thing that was exciting for me was just seeing them deck tech, right? And message me and be like, "Hey, what do you think of this deck design?" I'm like, "That seems really cool, but really, should you be asking me?" Like, I'm
not winning.
Yeah. So it's really cool seeing some of those champions now being playtested for Genesis and rolled into the Origin set. And then my brother, he reached out to his friends and told them that, hey, this game is now live on Kickstarter, and they were blown away. Like, to think, nearly 10 years later.
10 years later, yeah.
Seeing that thing that you playtested now up on Kickstarter, right?
So some of these champions coming out in Origins were original.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're originally there before, right? Like we're not like.
In some ways, yeah.
Okay, obviously the change.
Yeah, there have been some changes here and there, but more importantly, some of the champions from Invasion are definitely from the original Origins. But if you were to, like Kareen, for example, the concept originally for that was so the original game for Origins, you picked your champion and then you picked a weapon, and that weapon gave you your attack ability and your awareness. Right. The original champion, Kareen, was based off of every single turn you could swap out your weapon for a different weapon. So this is where you get that readjustability of being able to change your awarenesses all the time. So yeah, I tried my best to port them over as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Weapons, you say? Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to watch out for that in the future.
There's definitely going to be some cool ideas. Eventually, especially as the game expands, we're going to have to start playtesting different ideas for champions. So I don't know when it'll happen, but I expect some pretty big shakeups to happen in the Future League server in the next 2 to 3 years. All right, so the next question, is there a point in which you would consider 3-color champions? What are your thoughts on that? From someone on the outside, I'd be super curious. So
I mean, I have dabbled in ideas and concepts of 3 colors, on my own. Like, what would it look like? Would it be with the current set, right? Could you have 2 champions with a adjoining color, and running a single deck with 2 champions, right? They're united through some way or connected somehow. But in doing that, it's now you just sort of always go into blue or Axon, and then everything is Axon with a splash of 2 other colors, and you're pulling for the best things. And it's just I'm not sure. A single champion with access to 3 colors. I don't Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say that would never happen, but it would be, yeah. I think we would see mono, a single color champion before we'd see 3-color champion.
So we priced it out in the formula. I did a lot of testing, both actual play testing and a lot of like just thought experiments running through this. The difference between single affiliated and dual affiliated as the card pool grows is less and less. Because I've made plenty of decks, and you'll see this more, is that you'll make a lot of timelines. Right now, you don't pay attention on which affiliations the cards are coming from. You just grab your pool of all the cards that are playable by the champion and then start selecting from there.
Yeah.
But if you were to take a step back and look at some of your decks, you'll realize that a lot of them are 80% one affiliation and then a splash of the other. And then you start realizing there isn't a huge difference between being mono-affiliated and dual-affiliated. And we saw this on Future League with Arthur. There was a champion, Arthur.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And that's when I was playtesting that. Now, going from dual-affiliated to tri-affiliated, there is a huge jump, and the cost to do that would be a lot. Because when you're at dual-affiliated, you're already pulling the best of the best, right? You're not having to redefine your scope as much. But once you get to tri-affiliated, the big issue is actually now you get more tribal cards to choose from. You get a lot of cards that aren't supposed to synergize together. Like, imagine if Demon Scrolls and Angel Retribution could synergize together. You start pulling into some really big issues on that side. And
interesting.
The bigger issue is that the card pool itself, every single card in the game currently is designed to work mono-affiliated, but is not designed to work tri-affiliated. And to go back and figure out which cards would break at that point could be very problematic. So I'd definitely be hesitant if that ever came across my desk. If Alex and the team were like, hey, we're going to make a tri-affiliated champion, I would be really hesitant to approve that. But at the same time, if they can show internal testing that shows evidence that, hey, this works, and they just want to take it to Future League to see what the community can find, I wouldn't stop them. But they would have to give a really solid a case for doing that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because like you say, if there's being so many sets in, if there's cards that would just be an issue for, yeah. Now, I mean, you can always, I mean, from what I was doing was more just sort of having fun, trying to see what would look like, right? Trying like maybe like an alternate format, see if people would be interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just was, if depending what your constraints are, or whatever, your deck size and everything, but like it's because you have options, you're right. You kind of do naturally flow to the best of the best.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's not
like,
always good.
We already see a lot of people being concerned about the synergy between, Axon Thymos, right? But if you threw any other affiliation into that mix, what would you be able to do then? What
Axon Thymos Bellum? What would I be able to do? I don't know.
So, yeah.
Teleport, Brooks, and Bolt Shots. Oh, boy. What a deck.
I think you'd see the meta get too streamlined at that point. And
that's interesting.
It's just... There's no need to jump that far into design just yet. I think that with dual affiliated champions, there's a lot of design space still available for the team. So
we're just getting our fifth color, right? Too.
Yeah,
so.
I know, right? All right, and then I think
Jeff wants 100 card singleton deck. What does that sound familiar?
So you can play Genesis however you want. I don't know if you ever played the format Allies back in the day. This was being play tested. I know in Woodstock and Brantford. The idea was you played with two champions. And the way I had outlined it, you have two champions and then at least one affiliation has to overlap. You use the same 50 card, 250 points. But whenever you go to play a card, you have to say which of the two champions is the source of that ability.
Right.
This is actually how Overpower played. So I've talked about Overpower before. It's the game I played when I was a kid. You had 4 superheroes, but only 3 of them were active at any point. So you're playing from like, Spider-Man, X-Men, all the Marvel, DC universe. Your deck was a communal pool that could be played with any of your heroes. It's just when you go to play a card, you needed a hero who could play that card, who could legally play that card.
Right.
So if it was a Spider-Man card, you need a Spider-Man in play. And then if you drew your opening hand or you drew a card and it was for Spider-Man, but Spider-Man had already been defeated, then you'd have to discard those cards at the beginning of the round. And they're no longer functional. So the idea of having a deck that's communal across multiple champions, and then if one champion dies, the cards that was only playable by that champion are now out of your deck. That's something that I would be interested in exploring. But
it's an interesting idea.
Again, play around, make up your own formats, right? Like I think if you're getting bored with the standard format, then just start making up stuff.
There you go, Jeff. You got permission. Go forth,
And
young one.
All right, so we got a question that is
Yes.
in the Discord from Gloucester.
Okay.
Would Haunted Castle Gaming consider making a smaller set of cards, 50 to 90, as expansion for future Genesis release? And follow-up question, if we did release a small set, what would that product be for newer players to get into the game? Would it be a premium collection of rares and desirable cards? Or would it be a standalone set of all new cards? So I think this is an interesting question to be like, hey, would you do this? And if you did it, how would you do it? And it's like, all right, I haven't quite thought about that. But from your perspective as a player, how do you feel about if we were to do like a smaller bridge set or something like that?
I guess it would be, from my perspective, is it taking place of another set? Like, would it be like, if we, let's take for example, if Origins was coming in July and Invasions was slotted for October, November, or whatever, would this bridge set bump the next set? So then we'd have the bridge set, and then there would be another set in the new year, or is it like I don't know? Is it like a print on demand type of thing, where it's like, here's a core set of cards? Like, is it a core set? I don't know. I mean, probably would buy it regardless, because there's probably a set and there'd be a number of cards, and my binders have to, you can't have gaps anymore. Like everything's in there, so I need to now maintain that. That is the expectation, except for foils. You got me with J2.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any more foils. I have a number of people in my life who have told me, and I've given them permission to chastise me and tell me to put me in my corner if I ever attempt to go after Origin foils.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I don't hold that against you. I definitely feel, especially the way we design foils, they should be one of those, appreciate them when you get them, but don't break the bank to try to chase them down. My thing is, this is an interesting question. I don't know if this part of the conversation is known, but the reason why there are delays between the sets, like the reason why J2 reprint is taking so long, or like isn't out yet, isn't because we wanted to delay it. We wanted it out back in November. Like, we had everything planned that the reprint would be in our hands before the championship. That was the original scheduling for it.
Right.
And now we're getting to the end of January, and we're still trying to get the machines to work. So, if there was a supplemental set, it would actually be delaying any future product. For me personally, like, I think if we were to release one core set, one playable new expansion into the game every quarter, then that's good, right? 4 sets a year. And make them new things that can be digested and like enjoyed in a very interesting way, instead of I don't know. So one thing that I think was kind of a supplementary like stopgap set is J2.
Right.
And I see that as more of a, hey, all these older sets, here's the cream of the crop. There was a lot of bad cards in those sets. Let's just move the good sets, good cards forward and ignore the rest.
Yeah, and there was expansion, and distribution was happening.
Yeah.
And making sure that next step you're taking as a company, you had enough product to back it up, right? Mm-hmm. There needed to be something that was sort of a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Right. So that idea made sense.
The first print run of J2, we did not expect it to sell out as quickly as it did. Right?
Like, wow, it's amazing.
I don't see the, like, right now we're not delivering at the time frame we want to. So trying to fit other products in between doesn't quite make sense just yet.
Now, do you like the size of your sets right now?
I think they're a little bit
130.
So I think Origins is estimated to be in the 150 range.
Well, because of Phage, yeah, or yeah.
And I think that should be roughly I'm expecting that to be around the norm. But if it exceeds, I think if it starts creeping above 175, the issue I have with that is being able to get the amount of cards you need in a single booster box.
Right.
Because one thing that I really enjoy about J2 is that when you buy a single booster box, you get a good volume of cards at different rarity levels, different chi levels. Like, the experience of opening up packs is very enjoyable for J2.
Right.
A larger set comes with two issues. One is the overall collecting point of it becomes painful. And then the other side is... what was I going to say?
I think you're on the line of like trying to build a deck, right? Like trying to get into like a working deck with more cards means you have to open that much more product.
Yeah. No, the other thing that was coming to my mind is filler.
Yes.
Yeah. Like every card that's going into Origins, I am confident that the team is sitting down and saying this is going into the set for a reason. Right. But there are a lot of cards that are put into a set that I just don't want to start putting cards in for the sake of putting cards in. I don't want to waste the ink and the cardboard and the artist's time to design cards that no one's going to play with. So I want to make sure every card has a purpose. So the smaller sets are nicer that way. Now, I think Beta was too small of a set at 90 cards.
Beta was not, like, it was 90, wasn't it?
Yeah. Beta was 90. I think that was too small of a set because it wasn't enough variety. Like, all the decks kind of streamlined to being the exact same. The problem with the too small set is if a card is unplayable, it becomes... people really dislike that card. Because then you're getting so many copies of it.
Like,
this card again. Right? Like, that was the issue in Beta with... like, at the time, Elementals, very quickly, people realized that those were unplayable. Like the Earth, Air, Water Elementals.
Yeah.
Fire Chain, Steven. There were so many cards that in Beta were just completely unplayable. And when you open up a pack and you get 8 cards that are that way, it hurt. But even if there were 2 or 3, it became very painful. And that was the issue with the Rays. Rays had the ratio of good, mediocre, and unplayable cards was very skewed. So even if the pack was a good pack, even if you got like Necrolich as your rare and you got an epic and you got great uncommons, you're still kind of left feeling like, oh, yeah, these commons really didn't satisfy the need, right?
Right.
So larger sets have that risk, and that's why I think between that 100 to 140 is a good spot. J2, I think, was a really good set size. That's my theory around it.
I guess we'll have to see, right? I mean, if if there was a situation where, the player base needed it,
Yes.
right, then a J2 type thing could happen.
I think, that's where it definitely changes. So, like, just say Origins comes out and we find that there were, 25% of the set just was not well-designed, not great cards. Why, if we were to reprint that set, why spend the cardboard to reprint those cards, right? Why not just make a J3 type of thing and then combine J2 and Origins, right? I think it really comes down to maximizing the value of the paper we use, because paper is the biggest commodity right now.
In the TCG world.
Yes, yeah. All right. Last question coming in from the chat, which was, will the next set after Origins be a Kickstarter? No. It is not intended to be a Kickstarter. It is gonna go to this go through distribution like it should. All right, we got 10 minutes left. Let's go through our deck tech submissions. Thank you everyone who submitted deck techs. It was a bit smaller of a pool this time, but we got a few new people, which was very exciting. So we'll start with Alex's, which was the Necroswarm, right?
Necroswarm.
Let's get rid. I have our names on the screen. Okay, so actually, I could probably keep the chat up on screen. Let's put that there. Get rid of our faces. No.
You give people no 7s and 8s. Gone with Epiphany. Gone with Bolt Shot. Gone with Baruchs. You get Necrolich.
So what was Alex's reasoning behind this? Do you remember?
Well, in his exact words, I can't find a flaw. But I've seen so many Necrolich decks before, and this one isn't any different. He goes on to say something about not liking Angel's Embrace, which I disagree with 100%. And he thinks that Angel's Embrace only belongs in one spot, and that's the Forethoughts. And that's where Eric has it.
Okay.
That guy.
That's very aggressive.
Alex is such a grumpy guy, isn't he, guys? Such a grumpy guy.
James, the next set will not be going to Kickstarter. I guess I did not enunciate that well enough. So, yeah. My 2 cents, I mean, we've seen the Necroswarm deck quite a bit. I think this would have been a good time to lean more on the lower chi cards. There are some really solid 4 chis, especially Martial Sentry and Goliath Sphinx Eater, which would have been really great to see as options for Necrolich to bring back. Instead of leaning more into the Chrono Walkers, I think getting more of the smaller summons out. So
get more of that swarm feel, like Goliath Sphinx Eaters, Martial Sentries, those are great. I think he did have the Gilded Stags, which are part of that package, Cabuses. But I mean, if you're reducing what you can pull from as a 6G, Chrono Walker and Necrolich as 6G cards are very, very strong, very powerful cards. So
I think one of the biggest things about the Necroswarm deck is every time I design it, I always want to put in these 6, 7s, and 8s. And that always holds me back from designing the deck to its full potential. So I think it is great that this assignment was perfect for that. I just wish that we had seen more of these 4s and 5s. I'm sure there are some other 5s that are a little bit more unique. Gilded Stag is not your only option. And the downside to Gilded Stag is if you start dealing with Death's Companions or Angels, they have to get really close to deal damage.
Really close,
that hurts.
I think if we were looking at in a bubble, right, with these decks, your 7 and 8s are gone, so you're facing other 3 to 6 chi decks. Yes, you might have some landslides or some tsunami players, but your Necrolich and you're bringing out your summons, you're going to be building a board, right? You don't really need to have evasion because your opponent may not be coming directly for you, unless they're maybe trying to go with a rain strategy or something, right? So, but I understand Chrono Walker. It's a very strong card.
I think if you had
I've come to terms with it.
That's Feels. All right, moving on. The next deck. This was your winning one, which is the Genesis BOC Europe.
Yes. Yeah, Fong deck or Fang, whatever way you want to say that. Yeah, I liked it. I play. I have built a Stampeding Force flight deck. It's one of my, fun throw around, casual, not taking the game seriously kind of fun decks. That had this package in it with a couple other things sprinkled in. The only thing like the critique, or the only thing I really stood out, was sort of surprised, was the Meditative Ascension.
Yeah.
That easily could have been Hurricane Sweep, but I don't know I didn't quite get the grasp the whole story. Maybe this is just what they opened or what they had, whatever that was. But Hurricane Sweep's in, Meditative Ascension out, and then you got a pretty decent little Fong deck. So
yeah, even in your forethoughts for this deck, you have the Giant Scorpions. Those would have been better in the main deck, and pull the Meditative Ascensions out.
I did like though that his side or his forethoughts allowed to sort of switch. So if he brought up say 2 or 3 of those cards in and took some cards out from his main deck, you could almost be like a hybrid summoner type deck.
Yeah.
After forethoughts, whereas his main plan is sort of like this combo fighter style. Oh, that's not working. Let's switch into like a summoner style, which is interesting.
So I love the Stampeding Force deck. It is probably one of my all-time favorite decks in the game because it's just so ridiculous and so silly. And when it goes off and it starts doing its thing, you're like,
it's ridiculous.
Like, you're just running on me. Like you don't even need to attack me. Every time you step on me, I'm taking more damage than your built-in attack. Like it's just so wonderful. I think the thing that's missing from here is you need so many more Stampeding Forces. 4 is not enough. You want to get 4 out. So having 4 in your timeline as a whole, I think it's a bit on the small side. It does allow you to swap between the Stampeding Force and the summoner side of it.
Right.
However, if you just have 4 Stampeding Forces and 5 flight is not that good on its own.
Yeah, you're not going to use it too much. But
it's so expensive at 12 aura. It's a lot for Fong to run. So you need to make sure you got the Stampeding Forces out to make flight valuable. Now, the flip side to it is if you got all the Stampeding Forces but no flight, then you're hurt. It
doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know in my version, the version I run is actually just common cards because of J2. Grade 2 brought enough of the uncommons down to common that we needed. So, mine is, I think it's like 24 Stampeding Forces, 6 flights, and then a bunch of Rampage Toss and Sidesteps. Because the Rampage Toss on the stack interaction, throw them to your side, sidestep onto them, allows you to get some real Stampeding Force type shenanigans in. So
nice.
But, yeah. Anyways, I appreciated seeing that deck, and then any deck with Fong in it, at least trying to build around Fong, it warms my heart.
Nice.
So.
All right. So then the last winner is from KC Games. This was my pick for the week. A few reasons why I went with this. One is that foil teleportation. Thank you so much. I love it when people are playing with the foil cards. That always makes me happy. The second part to it is you could tell that this was a deck that was built by just opening some packs, getting cards together, and seeing what you got, and just building something. And because of that, you're using a lot of niche cards that not a lot of people play with, and you're experimenting with them. So I give a lot of credit to that. There's no general theme to this deck. It just does its thing. And this is the case where I think having the extra flights is okay, because Nubia, if draws one flight, then the second card hopefully isn't another flight, and you at least get a good draw, right? You still have something playable every round.
And I think this was the one, this person, this was the one that, did they have the Ascended Teachings to discard the flights?
Yes.
That is always something, like the Ascended Teachings is a card from Rays that I've always it's always just sitting at the back of my mind, being like, okay, when can I crack this out? When can I start building with this? Right. The flight is interesting because you could get, well, I guess what they were getting, gust or wind slash. I guess those would be the two big ones for 4 Gs, right? Because flight's 4 Gs, so you'd have to get a similar G. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So, I love the attempt. I also love, Nubia dense fog flight. I use that combo to win my first. I did a draft at some point. That was the combo that I hinged on a lot. But of course, I also had an angel that was going through that. So,
so the angel is what won.
Yeah, the angel. But I mean, the Gilded Stags definitely help with this deck because the Gilded Stags gain a lot of momentum over other summons.
That's another piece of art that I love. That Gilded Stag art. It's one of those one of my favorite creatures for sure.
Yeah. All right, so these 3 winners, you are getting the. Where are they?
Oh, random pulling a random card.
Was the wins for those, so I got those all set aside. I have to send out a few other wins, but I'll be doing that at the beginning of next month. But we need to think of a contest for this week. You have one in mind?
I wish I had prepared one. No, I don't actually. Okay, so we've done not certain champions. We've done restriction on chi. Do you want to build around a particular card, maybe? No, and then we'll get all the same decks then, I guess. Summonless? No summons?
It's a pretty difficult deck to do.
Okay. John says mono affiliation. Monocolored decks.
Mono affiliated decks. Yeah, let's go for it.
That's only because JC has one already, right? That he just sits on.
His Oni deck.
Yeah, look at me. I have a monocolored deck. He's got a sign and everything. He holds up.
Yeah, the mono decks, make a deck around a pillar. The earth, air, water, fire pillars. So it has to be an elemental theme. And monocolor.
All right, elemental built around a pillar.
Decks built around the pillars.
Nice.
So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see. I think the easy win is Earth. The most complex one, or the hardest one to really get a win out of, will be Water.
Okay.
So that's my spectrum. I'm thinking Earth, and then Fire is the second, then Air, then Water. So
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, you got to do that again now.
He did. Yeah, that's right. He did already do it. He didn't have the water pillar in his though. I don't think, did he?
No, he did a fire pillar deck. He did a fire deck.
A fire deck. I think the last one, I think this week's was a water deck. He was trying to put tsunamis, and I was like, you could have just put 25 tsunamis or 50 tsunamis in, Jeff. It would have been fine.
So
only one pillar or different pillars? Built around one pillar, right? It's one element.
Pick a pillar. Pick a pillar. And then build the deck around that.
Okay.
So that's the assignment for the week.
Nice.
Now we need prizes.
Pillars. Electric pillars?
Signed copies of the pillars.
Oh, signed copies of the pillars.
I will. Let me make sure I have those. You know what? I'll pull. If I don't, I'll pull it out of my personal collection. I have one of each, personally. So worst case scenario, if I don't have extras, I'll pull it out of my personal collection.
Now, what if two people both have fire deck wins? Do you have two fire pillars signed? Or they don't have to win their pillar, I guess.
They may not win their pillar.
Disclaimer.
No promises are winning your pillar, but you will win a signed pillar. And it'll be from Rays, so when they were rares, and I think I have epics of them, but we'll see.
Ooh, yes, yeah. They were epics at one point.
Yeah, right? So, that is the assignment, and yeah, that's the deck text for the week.
Nice.
All right.
Congrats, everybody who won.
All right. If you have any other things you want to see Will, me, and hopefully Alex the next time see us discuss and debate and talk about, make sure you leave them in the Discord channel, in the what's that channel called? Something about exploring the libraries. Pitch ideas for exploring the library, something like that. Throw them into there, so we'll make sure we copy them into our own thing and pin them up so we can cover them in the future. And that's it for this week, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.